You know what's strange about money? We all use it every single day. Yet most of us spend our entire lives trying to figure out how it actually works, like being lifelong users of a tool we've never fully read the manual for. I didn't always understand money either. In my early 20s, I thought a good job and a few nice things meant I was doing well. Then one day, I looked at my bank account after a decade of working and realized I had nothing to show for it. That's when I started to notice how small, invisible habits quietly decide whether we stay broke or build freedom. Let's talk about 9 of those habits. The ones that drain wealth from your future while pretending to be harmless. And more importantly, how to break them. The first one, paying yourself last. It sounds responsible when people say, I pay my bills first. But in truth, that's how the poor stay poor. When every paycheck goes to rent, subscriptions, groceries, dinners out, and then maybe savings, you've already told your money that everyone else matters more than you. Here's a shift that changed my life. Treat your savings like a bill. The most important bill. Before rent, before Netflix, before anything. Take 10% of what you earn and move it to a separate account the moment you're paid. Don't ask if you can afford to. Do it, then let the rest of your spending adjust around it. People who do this discover something interesting. When you force yourself to save, you start making smarter choices automatically. You find cheaper alternatives. You think twice before impulse buying. You stop living like every paycheck is a temporary fix and start feeling like you're building something permanent. It's not about deprivation, it's about respect for your future self. And if you think 10% is impossible, start with 5, then grow it. The magic isn't in the amount, it's in the habit of paying you first. The second bad habit, getting comfortable with bad debt. Debt is so normalized today that people joke about it. Student loans, car payments, credit cards, buy now, pay later. It's a cultural wallpaper, but behind every no interest for 6 months smile is a company betting on you to slip up. Debt is not evil by itself. It's a tool, but like fire, it's safe only when it's contained. If you're using credit to buy things that lose value, clothes, gifts, gadgets, you're feeding a fire that will one day eat your freedom. I once met a man who earned 6 figures yet lived in quiet panic. He drove a BMW, wore designer watches, had the successful image but was drowning in repayments. Every month he was working for the bank. Debt had turned him from an earner into an employee of interest rate. The rule I live by now is simple. If I can't buy it in full, I can't afford it. And yes, that sometimes means waiting. But patience is cheaper than interest. The moment you stop financing your lifestyle, you start financing your freedom. The third habit, not having a safety buffer. If life has taught me anything, it's that chaos doesn't send calendar invites. Cars break down, jobs vanish, health issues appear, and the worst time to start worrying about money is when you desperately need it. That's why an emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living costs, isn't just a finance tip. It's peace of mind, bottled and stored. It's knowing you can breathe when the world decides to test you. When I first started saving, I treated that fund like a fragile plant. Each month, a little more water, a small transfer, automatic, boring. Eventually, it grew into something that let me sleep better than any luxury purchase ever did. People underestimate how much mental bandwidth financial insecurity steals. When you know you can survive a bad month, you stop living like a hostage to the next paycheck. And that clarity becomes rocket fuel for every other part of your life. The fourth habit, not knowing your numbers. Money loves attention. Ignore it, and it slips away quietly. Most people have no clue what they earn after tax, what they spend each month, or where their money actually goes. They work, they spend, and they hope it balances out. But wealth doesn't come from guessing. It comes from measuring. I used to hate budgeting. It felt restrictive, like putting a leash on my freedom. Then I realized that freedom without awareness is chaos. So I built a simple tracker, just income, savings, bills, spending, debts. No fancy formulas, just reality in black and white. And something shifted. When I saw my spending, I started controlling it. Numbers stopped being scary and started becoming strategy. Because when you know your exact position, you can move on purpose. Lifestyle inflation, earning more and spending more, is a quiet trap. If you don't watch it, your expenses will rise to meet your income and you'll stay exactly where you started, just with fancier receipts. Track your money. Even a 10-minute review every month can change your trajectory. That's the first half, the mindset and awareness stage. Next, we'll dive into the deeper traps, expensive hobbies, oversaving, tax ignorance, and the fear of investing. and how each one quietly steals the life you could have had. Continue to part 2. Have you ever noticed how spending money can feel like therapy? That little rush when you hit add to cart, the illusion that you've solved something until the credit card bill shows up. That's the 5th bad money habit, expensive hobbies disguised as self-care. There's nothing wrong with enjoying what you earn, but if every stressful week ends in shopping, every celebration ends in splurging, and every weekend feels like a reward for surviving Monday to Friday, you've turned consumption into comfort. And comfort, when purchased too often, becomes a cage. Modern marketing is engineered to keep you broke but entertained. Social media shows you what happiness looks like with a price tag. You scroll, compare, and before you know it, you're chasing the life of someone who's also chasing someone else's. The real flex is peace, not purchase. Try this. Give your hobbies a budget. Yes, even the fun ones. When you limit spending on pleasure, you don't kill joy, you sharpen it. You start choosing experiences that actually make you happy, not just distracted. Now the 6th habit, focusing only on saving. It sounds wise, cutting coupons, chasing cash back, switching phone plans, but saving alone won't make you rich. There's a ceiling to how much you can save. There's no ceiling to how much you can earn. The wealthy don't just reduce expenses, they expand their income. They think in dual moves, defense and offense. Saving keeps you safe. Earning sets you free. When I was younger, I believed financial success meant mastering frugality. I prided myself on skipping coffee and buying generic brands. Then I realized I was winning the wrong game. You can't shrink your way into wealth. You build it by turning skill into income, income into assets, and assets into freedom. So yes, keep saving, but don't let it be your only move. Ask yourself how to raise your value. Maybe it's learning a skill, launching a side project, asking for that raise, or investing in something that earns while you sleep. Saving protects you, creating income liberates you. Habit number 7, ignoring taxes. Taxes are the biggest bill most people pay and the one they understand the least. We grumble about them but rarely study how they work. The rich do the opposite. They don't avoid taxes illegally. They understand them deeply. Knowledge of tax rules is like knowing shortcuts in a city. The roads are the same, but the route you take changes everything. They use legal tools like retirement accounts, business structures, and investment shelters. And it's not because they're greedy, it's because they're strategic. If you don't learn the rules, you end up donating extra to the system by accident. And here's the irony. The money you could have saved legally could have gone toward causes you actually believe in. Understanding tax isn't selfish, it's responsible. Study it once, and it will pay you forever. It might sound boring, but so is working 40 years just to realize half your effort went to the government when it didn't need to. Habit number 8, waiting too long to invest. This one breaks more dreams than bad spending ever will, because time is the most powerful multiplier of money, and it's also the only one you can't get back. People say, I'll start when I earn more. But the truth is, if you don't invest with little, you won't invest with much. The habit doesn't magically appear with a higher paycheck. It grows when you learn to let your money work for you, even if it's just $50 a month. Every delay shortens the runway of compound growth. It's like planting a tree and deciding to wait for a better season. The best time was yesterday. The second best is now. Start small. Learn the basics. Whether it's an index fund, a Roth IRA, or even your own business, start putting your money where it can multiply. And remember, diversification isn't for the rich, it's for the smart. Investing isn't about gambling, it's about patience. You're trading short-term uncertainty for long-term peace. The longer your money works, the less you have to settle. Habit number 9, confusing motion with progress. People read books, watch finance videos, listen to podcasts, and call it self-improvement. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. The real shift happens when you stop studying wealth and start building it. When you open that brokerage account, when you automate your savings, when you cancel the subscription you've been meaning to cancel, when you finally make that uncomfortable but necessary change. Money isn't built on motivation, it's built on repetition. The habits that create freedom are often quiet, unglamorous, and boring. But boring done consistently becomes beautiful. Because one day, you'll wake up realizing you no longer work for money. It works for you. In the end, wealth isn't about numbers, it's about control. Control over your time, your energy, your choices. Every dollar saved, every debt cleared, every investment made, they're not financial acts. They're votes for freedom. And if you've made it this far, remember, the goal isn't to live cheap. It's to live calm, to reach a point where your money decisions feel peaceful, not pressured. That's what the passive path is really about. Not chasing wealth, but building a life where wealth quietly supports you. Money is more than math. It's emotion, discipline, and quiet courage. The courage to say no when the world tells you to spend, the discipline to save when it's easier to scroll, and the patience to keep going when results take time. If you're already thinking differently after watching this, that's your first real investment, not in the market, but in yourself. Because wealth always begins in the mind before it ever reaches the bank. If this video helped you see money in a new light, take a second to like it. It tells YouTube this message matters. Subscribe to The Passive Path so you don't miss what's next. And share this video with someone you care about, someone who might need that same spark to take control of their future. Drop a comment below. Tell me which habit hit you the hardest, or which one you've already started breaking. I read every one of them. Thanks for spending your time here. I wish you clarity, consistency, and a little luck on your journey to financial peace. And if you're ready to keep learning, there are other videos waiting for you on The Passive Path, all designed to help you build calm, lasting wealth. I'll see you in the next one.